Here we go. Good evening, everyone. 6th of May. So I started by saying that we were celebrating Cinco de Mayo yesterday. So if you can see on Instagram that we posted a little bit, my daughter, as you know, has been living in Texas for the last 2 years, going back and forth for university. She's actually home now for the next few weeks. But there's a restaurant down there called Irma's Original. So if you ever get to Houston, Texas, and you get to go to Irma's, it's really a wonderful place. It's not too big, and what's cool about Irma's is there's no menu. So you kind of walk in and you say, what's the specials of the day? And the server will tell you what the specials are, and then you kind of pick. And one of the things that I said in my Instagram post is that they have a really good margarita, but it tends to sneak up on you. So if you're at all worried, maybe share one with someone else. But everything's bigger and better in Texas. Just for anybody who's joining me from Texas, here's a shout out. For those of you not joining me from Texas, good evening. I think almost everyone or the majority of the people on this call are joining us from Southeast Asia. If you're joining us from Europe, good afternoon. And if you're joining us from the United States, good morning. I feel very excited today because it is a beautiful day here. I wish you could see out my window. I can't unplug my computer though, which is the reason why I was a couple of minutes late. I came downstairs and my computer was dead, so I had to immediately plug in. I can't reach from the plug to the window, but maybe at the end I'll show you how beautiful it is outdoors. It's just a fresh, lovely spring day. Everything's in bloom. It's just one of my favorite times of year. So if you get to the United States, I hope that you will come and visit me. It's about, I don't know, I want to say 60 degrees here, 65 Fahrenheit. Which I know is not super warm, but it's okay. It's a good day. And I'm actually wearing pink today because I'm feeling so cheerful. So today we're going to be talking about overwhelm. And I know all of you have gone through it. All of you have felt it. All of you know what it's all about. If you've been doing this business for a while, and I see some names on here that I know have been doing this business for a while. Some of my friends joining me, shout out to a couple of different people that I know have been on the call. And yes, I have one Houstonite on the call. I know you know Irma's. If you've been in this call for a while, if you've been in this business for a while, I know you can feel sometimes that it can be overwhelming. So today we're going to cut through the overwhelm. We're going to do a little bit of a shout out to the specials of the month for the month of May. I know by the 6th, you probably already know what the specials are, but just in case, and you want to be able to pass the word, we have, I'm going to do a quick run through of the specials in our 3 major markets, and then we'll jump right into that presentation about overwhelm. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Oops. Okay, shrink this. And okay. All right, so those of you who don't know me, I'm Elena Jordan. I think by this time, most of you do. I'm always hoping and praying that we're inviting new people to this Zoom call. We are a big and growing team. If you're not listening to the call live and you're listening to it on the recording, I hope that you are either in Oil Camp Alumni or Team Power Diamond or some of the other pages where we are posting this, private pages where we're posting this Zoom recording. So welcome, and would love to hear your comments below. So as I'm talking, I want to hear so as I'm talking about overwhelm, I want you to kind of give me your tips for getting over overwhelm in your life. And I'm only going to give you the 3 major ones, but of course there's many, many more. Okay. Thank you to our Presidential Diamond team. You all work super hard every single day. Please know that I appreciate and love you very, very much. And for those of you who are waiting for packages from me, graduates of Oil Camp Alumni and other things that I've promised, please know that I'm on it. I'm going to be shipping out stuff this week. So don't think, no, Elena, she never does what she says. I'm trying, folks. So please keep on me. If you need to text me, absolutely, I'll be responding to some texts. Okay, first off, US or NFR specials. So all of you know that NFR is not for resale. If you're outside of the US market, that means if you purchase this product, it will not be available in your local market. This special will not be available in your local market unless you're specifically purchasing through the US portal. Okay, product of the month in the US, cypress. I actually love cypress. So fresh and woody scent. They said it's used in spas, although I don't know that specifically. It has benefits to the skin, reduces anxious feelings, encourages feelings of energy and vitality. Combined with lime for diffusing, which is pretty cool. Apply 2 to 3 drops to the chest before gardening for an energizing boost, and 2 drops to toner to help improve the appearance of oily skin. But I will tell you the number one use that I like for cypress is circulation. So all of you who know somebody who has some sort of circulatory issue, whether it is swelling in any of the extremities, or perhaps they have some sort of a coronary condition that can cause them to have swelling. They have poor circulation for other reasons. I talked to some of my team members, and they talk about their fingers and toes turning a blue color, sometimes in extreme cold, or after exercise. Cypress, that's your thing. And I know my mom, who's, as you know, I talk about her here all the time. She's like my guinea pig of essential oils, uses a ton of cypress. And she uses it every single night. And honestly, she's pretty much going strong. She has some memories issues, as I've mentioned on this call before, but nothing having to do with circulation. And she was just at the internist the other day, just for a checkup, because she goes in every 3 months or so. And she has a lady internist who's super nice, just love her, Dr. Gershman. And Dr. Gershman says, you're looking really good. Keep doing whatever you're doing. So part of it has to do with the cypress. And you're going to get a free cypress by placing a 125 PV order before the 15th. So you have 9 days left. You can absolutely shoot yourself a bottle of cypress if you need it. Okay, number 2, I'm going to give you 2 great diffuser blends to use with cypress. You can take a photograph of this slide if you wish. You can try mountain air. So again, we're talking about respiratory and opening up the airways, right? Getting everything flowing. Cypress, tea tree, cedarwood, and you know my favorite, bergamot. I love that essential oil, kind of citrusy and bold. I love that fruit. That's the fruit that I was showing in the first slide, that kind of greenish, lumpy thing. I don't know if you can eat it. I have to find out. I do not find it in my local supermarkets. It's not something that I ever see. It is also a flavoring for Earl Grey tea. But try this blend in your diffuser maybe this week, and then let me know how you like it. Okay, another one, relax and rejuvenate. Cypress plays well in the sandbox with lavender and eucalyptus. Again, we're talking about trying to ease the mind, and we're talking today about getting over the overwhelm, because that's a stinky feeling and we don't want to go there. Okay, saving 10% in the US on anti-aging eye cream. And if you look at that crazy thing that looks like a long tube at the end, you see the little steel roller ball at the end, that's the applicator. And you can put that underneath your eyes in the morning if you're a lady and you're using makeup, which you know me, I love my makeup. You put it on underneath your eyes and it can actually reduce puffiness. And then you can apply any other makeup or creams on top, concealer or whatever it is you need. What I love about it is the roller ball feels cool because it's steel. And so even if your eyes are a little bit puffy or you're feeling a little bit of warmth there around the eyes, it feels just so gentle and lovely. And what I didn't realize is you kind of push down with your thumb. I first, because I'm a nut, thought that you had to push down on your eye, and I thought, this is crazy. How is this cream coming out? But you actually push with your thumb with that little ridge there that you see, and that causes the cream to come out around the roller ball. So just don't make the stupid mistake that your friend Elena made and try to be pushing on your eye socket, because that is not smart. But I'm telling you, you'll love the anti-aging eye cream. Okay, Singapore specials. Guys, I have to tell you, every time I see this photo, I think, oh, I want to go back. And I started planning my trip already. I actually met with someone on Saturday, and I'm beginning to put together my trip for Southeast Asia, probably November, but I'm going to make it a nice long trip so I get to see each and every one of you. But I look at this picture and I think, gee, I really want to go back. And for those of you who are on Netflix, any of my friends on Netflix, if you're on Netflix, there's a great new series called Street Food. And one of the countries that's featured is actually Singapore. So if you're from Singapore or you're from the Philippines, there's actually a guy on there from Philippines, from Cebu actually. So check out the Street Food. They talk about the hawker centers, of course, and just some really cool things that people are eating and doing in Singapore right now. Okay, here we go. Enrollment promotion. Earn lemon myrtle, jasmine, and rose by sharing and enrolling new wellness advocates or wholesale customers until the 31st of May. And if you need the terms and conditions for that, you're going to have to check on the doTERRA Singapore, either the website or the Facebook page. But those are 3 amazing oils. And as you know, we don't get them in the 5 milliliter size at any time. And I have to tell you, when at the end of the last convention, we actually received a lemon myrtle. If you remember, if you bought one of the dream boxes, and mine got lost. So I have no idea where my lemon myrtle is, but I hope that the person who found it really enjoyed it and is getting a lot of use out of it. We also, in Singapore, you're going to save 10% on Purify essential oil. You want to diffuse your Purify, keep your air clean. The other way I love Purify is if you soak a cotton ball, little cotton fluffy, and you put it in your closets or in your boxes where you store clothing. It can keep away those nasty pests like moths. The other day I opened up a sweater and a little teeny moth fell out, and I thought, oh no, it's probably eating that sweater and having a delicious lunch. And I immediately went for my Purify to make sure that no more moths are hatched in there and no more moths are eating my clothes. But I strongly recommend using your Purify. Product of the month is your Wild Orange, and you're going to get that for 125p or more, PV or more between the 1st and the 15th. And Purify and Wild Orange blend well together, so that can be something that you can put in your diffuser. Here's the other thing. Once I remember going to Singapore, actually I think it was my last trip or maybe 2 trips ago, and getting a really hoarse throat that I couldn't even speak. And I was there multiple days, and by the last day I just had no voice left. And shout out to Carmen, who gave me the recipe of On Guard and Purify, gargling with them, and my voice was restored. Now, I cannot tell you it was delicious because it was not, and we all know that On Guard can be a little bit strong, but that was sort of the 1-2 punch that revived my vocal cords, and I was able to get to the end of the trip and not be doing pantomime until I got back to the US. Okay, Malaysia specials. Again, a beautiful picture. Malaysia, I want to come visit you also. So for my friends who are always on this call, dedicated on Monday evening, here's a shout out to you. Our May promotion, same thing actually this time. So you're going to get 10% off Purify, and the product of the month is the Wild Orange. Again, good blend and good to go really nicely together. Okay, last but not least, your In Bloom promotion is also available in Malaysia. Just wanted to make sure that you knew that. Didn't think that it was exclusive to Singapore, and it is again through May 31st. Okay, a couple of new products are available in the Malaysia market, and I just want to mention this real fast. The Lumo diffuser, if you've never purchased one of these, it is a really powerful little diffuser and kind of unobtrusive. If you can put a little in a corner, that wooden base and the white top. Tends to be fairly powerful, and it will actually diffuse for quite a long time. I think the maximum is about 10 hours or 12 hours, so it works very well. And it is ultrasonic, so it's a super fine mist. Whisper is now available in Malaysia. Love Whisper. And it's sort of like a unique fragrance. What I love about Whisper is that it smells different on every person. So I find sometimes I'll go up to a person and think, they smell good. I mean, a doTERRA person, of course. And they'll say, I'm wearing Whisper. And it doesn't smell anything like it smells on me. Also Hope Touch. Now you do know that Hope Touch is a 0 PV roll-on, but it is to help women and children that have been victims of human trafficking, and in this case, specifically in Malaysia. So the full purchase price of 75 RM is donated to the Malaysia Healing Hands Initiative. So if you are so inclined, you know that your purchase of the Hope Touch blend will be going to a good cause. And from April 27th to the 31st of May, an additional 10 will be matched with each purchase of doTERRA Hope Touch. Okay, so let's get right to our presentation. 3 strategies to reduce overwhelm. And for anybody who tends to be a nervous Nelly, and I have a couple of you on this call, I want you to just take a deep breath. Now, I am not going to tell you anything here that you have not already heard. Hopefully, I'm going to say it in a new way so that for the first time you say to yourself, maybe I can do something differently. Because this presentation is made for all of us who've been in the business a while and sometimes just get really stressed out. We feel like we can't do it anymore, or we don't know which way to go. And so this is the reason why I wanted to do this presentation today. So it's especially if you've been in this business for a while. If you're brand new and you're feeling like, wow, there's just so much I have to do, also pertains to you. So the question of the week, and I actually got this, somebody sent this to me, this is a real life person. What do you recommend we do when we feel overwhelmed and constantly inspired or tempted by other people in our industry? There's always more and more and more to be or do. How do I focus on where I am in my journey while also feeling successful and good enough? It feels, sorry, that's a typo there. It feels like I'm always catching up. There's always more to do. There's always something else I could be working on or improving. So who hasn't felt like this? And even if you don't feel like it specifically in your doTERRA business, you may feel like it in your personal life. Many of us carry a very full plate, including children, elderly parents, a business, maybe a job. There's so much that we're juggling and we have on our plates. So I wanted to zone in or hone in, if you will, specifically on that feeling of overwhelm as it pertains to our business. I can't answer every question, but I sometimes feel if I lessen the stress, we basically turn down the dial a little bit on our businesses, then we turn down the dial a little bit on our life. Doesn't mean that you're working less hard. It just means that you're turning down that intensity that sometimes we all feel. Okay, it seems like we can always do more. And I love this picture of this lady because she's walking through this busy market. And what is she doing? She's just going home. She's not shopping. She just has her stuff on her head and she's like, I'm done for the day. Picked up my food and I'm on my way. So now for me, I would want to look in every single one of those stalls and look at everything. Now, does it serve me to be looking at what everybody else is doing? Probably not. And here's where our solutions can come in. So the short answer is, you are right. There will always be more things to do. Sigh. More money to be made, more connections to be made, more status to be had, more work to be done, and you're never going to cross off the last thing of your to-do list. So if you can wrap your head around this, it's going to make life a lot easier. There is always going to be more to do. Okay, so let's let that sink in for a second. Everybody got it? Okay. But what I'm going to ask you to do is have a mind shift. Okay? So our short answer is, you're absolutely right. However, your mind shift is more is good because it keeps us excited, hungry, and interested. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story, and it's actually a very personal one. As you know, my mother's been living with me for the last 3 years. And my mother was one of these people who worked intensely until the time she was about 65. She was a principal of an elementary school. She was very busy, up early, ran a school of 850 primary school children. So that's the ages of 5 to about 12. So super active. The building that she was a principal at was 5 stories tall, no elevator. So she was up and down those stairs all day long. After my mother retired, however, she kind of began to retreat, and she began to stay in her apartment more and not socialize as much. And that was really a problem. She did certain things, like she volunteered for a while and did other things, but she really retreated from that active world. And as my life was getting more and more busy, and I had young children at the time that my mother was retiring, it became a problem for her, because when we don't stimulate ourselves, we begin to shut down. Our memory begins to decline. Our mental capacity begins to decline. And that's very, very important for us as we age, to maintain our mind as much as we can. So I want you to think of the more, or the full plate, as a way that your mind is being stimulated. Now, your plate can be so full that things are literally falling off the sides. It can also be so full that you're beginning to forget things, but that's okay. Want to think about being excited and hungry and interested. So I want you to revive that feeling that you first felt when you first came to doTERRA, and you were so excited to learn more about essential oils, to learn more about other people, to teach classes. That's the feeling, the mindset shift that I want you to allow to bubble up again. If you've been here for a while, it's important for you to get back to those original feelings that you felt when you first came here. So the more excited we are, the more ready we are. So when we begin to feel excited about certain projects or certain things that we're doing, we begin to feel more ready. Sometimes it can feel challenging, but sometimes it allows us to kind of stimulate that urge for life, that urge for living. And I think to be engaged, to involve with other people. Recently, I've been doing a lot of efforts on social media. I don't know if any of you have taken a look. I hope that you will. And at first, it was a little scary, and it's still a little bit scary. I was researching certain things, how to do it, how to create content. What was I going to do with the Zoom call? Was I going to evolve it into something else? And I may actually do some more tweaks over the next few months, but that idea that I was learning and growing. And let me tell you something, folks. Everything that you need to learn to be able to grow your business, you can find on the internet. So here's my challenge to you. Sometimes when we get on the internet, we can literally fall down a rabbit hole, right? We can start looking at one video, and before you know it, it's 2 hours later and we're still looking at more videos. So I'm going to ask you to focus and get in your lane, whatever your lane may be. Because by getting out of your lane every day, you're doing yourself a disservice. How do we set our lane? How do we establish boundaries? We begin to develop projects for ourselves. So project number 1 for you could be achieving a new rank. But project number 1 could also be bringing in additional enrollments or bringing in additional volume. It could also be looking at your team and seeing who needs my specific attention this month. But what I want to challenge you to do is to set a specific goal for yourself for the month of May, and then begin to knock it off. And when we do that, we focus on the goal, and each and every time something else crosses our path that looks bright and shiny and sparkly, we can say, that's not helping me towards my goal. My goal is to do the following, and then keep refocusing on that goal. Now, you can have a monthly goal, you can have a quarterly goal, you can have a goal for 6 months or a goal for a year. But anyway you slice it, you want to make sure that you're working towards some sort of destination. Okay, now how do we avoid getting overwhelmed? So I talked to you a little bit about what overwhelm is all about. Talk to you a little bit about how I want you to have a mindset shift, but I want to give you 3 constructive ideas that I'm actually using to keep myself from being overwhelmed. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I feel like every Monday when I get on this call, I feel super happy. I just feel really bubbly. doesn't mean that I don't have a bad day. Of course I do. Do I miss you all so much because I haven't been able to be to Asia? Yeah, I really do. But am I happy to get to see you on this live Zoom class? I am. And that's what keeps me from spinning out into orbit and getting grounded again. So what are my tips? Number one, I want you to start each day with a gratitude list. I recently read a book called Tools of Titans, and I did not read it from cover to cover. It's a compendium of recommendations from some of the top performers on earth, really. People like Elon Musk and actors and actresses. It was compiled by a guy named Tim Ferriss. Tony Robbins is in there, Oprah Winfrey, all kinds of people that really high level performers. And many of them talk about starting the day with gratitude. Whether you start the day with an actual list on a piece of paper, so you're keeping some sort of a journal, and you're doing this mental exercise, pen and paper. Over the years, you can go back and look, or the days, and look back at that gratitude list. Now, it can be big things, and like my gratitude list sometimes is, I'm grateful that I have a car that works really well and super reliable. I'm grateful for my refrigerator full of food. I'm grateful that I have a wonderful family that supports me. I'm grateful for my health. Those can be the big ones, right? The little ones can be things like, I'm grateful for my pillow, or I'm grateful for my cup of coffee this morning. It was so totally delicious and really gave me a little bit of a zip. I'm even grateful for the people in the coffee shop where I get the coffee every morning, because you know what? They know me by name. And even though I'm not one of those people who says, hey, give me the usual, because I drink something different every day, every morning, Gina and Alice and Jake all say, hey, Elena, how you doing? How's your day going? I'm grateful for those people. And I want you to begin to look at even the tiny things in your life that you're grateful for. Now, I use a tool to keep me on track. I don't actually use a journal. I use this. It's something called Insight Timer. And that bowl actually is the symbol of the app. So when you go to look for this particular app, you're going to see this little bowl. The reason I like Insight Timer is you can set timers for yourself. So what I do is I set a timer actually for 9 minutes. And I know that sounds crazy, but it was a recommendation that I heard, something Tony Robbins does. So if he can do it, I can do it too. And then I have bells every 3 minutes. So the first 3 minutes for me are my gratitude. What am I grateful for? So for those first 3 minutes, all I do is think gratitude, 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 gratitude. It can be big and small. And sometimes I get into bed and I'm really mad and I think I'm not grateful for anything. And then my mind says, okay, hold on. Go back. What are you grateful for? And so for 3 minutes, I'm just sending out gratitude. I'm so thankful. And if you're a prayerful person, you can be saying, oh, thank you, Lord, for all these wonderful things that you have given me, all these gifts that I have. When that bell rings, I go to my second portion. My second portion is prayers that I want to send out to people. If you're not a praying person, send out good wishes. 3 minutes, good wishes to everybody that you can think of, my team members, my upline, my downline. I send prayers to the founders of doTERRA, people that I know that I'm supposed to be praying for. Maybe I forgot them. Everyone that you can think of, any little thing, who needs some sort of good wish being sent their way. That's my next 3 minutes. And my last 3 minutes, folks, is what am I doing the following day? And now I do this usually twice a day. So 9 minutes in the morning and 9 minutes at night. Don't have to do it twice a day. You can start your day this way. And I have to say, it's a great way to start the day. Everybody can spare 9 minutes. Those last 3 minutes are, what do I need to get done today? So actually look at my phone and see what my appointments are for the day. So for example, I knew this morning that I had to finish this call. I wanted to be here with you to do this Zoom class. Then I'm actually going into New York City. I have a luncheon appointment with a client. And then right after that, I'm leading a meeting just outside of Manhattan. So I'm going to have to do that around 6 p.m. So I have a really full day. And interspersed with those appointments, I also have some mentoring calls and some other things that I want to get done. So what am I focusing on? I'm focusing on doing a good job. I'm focusing on being present when I get there. I'm focusing on making sure that my car is packed properly. So when I arrive at each one of my locations, I have the supplies and the things that I need to be able to put together a really good meeting. So that's what I focus on. What's my day? Prepping myself for my day so that when I actually rise out of my bed. Now I also say other prayers and things because that's sort of my tradition. That's my prayer tradition, and you may too. But just those 3, 3, and 3 have been an amazing mindset shift for me and helped me to really start my day in a powerful way. Second recommendation, every 3 months, I want you to write a list of all you have accomplished. Why do we do this? Because sometimes we tend to get to a point where we're a little bit stuck and we don't look back and look at, oh, well, I did this and that and the other thing. And the list can really be a professional list. It can be a personal list. It may be that you finally resolved the problem in your house, that you've been working on for a while. I find for myself that I'll add things on there like, I don't know, maybe a class that I attended that was specifically impactful. Maybe I reached a monetary goal. I was trying to save for something and I was able to do it. I achieved something, even a silly thing. So for me, I have my niece's wedding in about 3 weeks and I needed to get all the clothes for my family, my husband, my mother, myself, my daughter, and everybody was kind of dragging their feet at renting tuxedos. And this was just going on for so many months. And last week I got it done. So that's a big accomplishment for me. It may seem silly because you may think, oh yeah, buying a bunch of clothes, who cares? But let me tell you, it was weighing on my mind and everybody was nagging me, what am I wearing for the wedding? So now all the plans, all the clothes, everything done. Feeling great. I also made a lot of donations to charity this year, kind of went through our house, cleansed it all up, put things in bags for charity, got it out to the charity. That's a big deal. But I also had professional goals. Launched my website this year. I joined some social media groups that I really wanted to join. Started posting on Instagram on a regular basis just the last 3 months. And that feels really good. What it does is it helps you to stay on track and not always be looking at the thing that you haven't done. Okay, so when you focus on what you have, it turns into more than enough. So from your iPhone to your watch you may have, maybe you have cool sunglasses that you love, whatever it is, somebody in your life that you just love and think is terrific. All of those things are gifts that we've been given, and those are the things we want to focus on. Okay, and then last but not least, and this is one that I'm going to throw out there, give back and volunteer. And the reason you want to give back and volunteer is because it helps you to realize exactly what it is that you have, especially in comparison to other people have so much less. You see people that don't have as much maybe food or resources or don't have as much money or clothing or whatever it is that you have. If you're listening to this call, it means that you have some sort of a digital device. You may have a computer, you may have resources, and I know many of you give back on a regular basis, but that idea of just getting into an area where you can be of service to other people that are less fortunate than you can sometimes help us to kind of reset where we are. I know many of you are involved in charity organizations through your houses of worship and through your community, and I think that's really wonderful. Sometimes maybe we want to just change it up. Try a different organization so that we begin to really see and focus on, okay, what is it that we have that maybe others do not? Okay, Tony Robbins said most people overestimate what they can do in a year and they underestimate what they can do in 2 or 3 decades. Now, for those of you who are around my age, I want you to look back at the last 3 decades. If you're only 30 years old, then please don't look back 3 decades because that would be when you were born, of course. But look back 1 decade. Look back at the last 10 years and maybe put down a few highlights. What is it that I've accomplished? I graduated from college. Maybe I graduated from graduate school. I got a job. I got married. I had a baby. Whatever you did over the last 2 to 3 decades. And if you're in your 40s and 50s, you can absolutely begin to look back and say, wow, look where I was and look where I am. Because if you're here, folks, you're amazingly privileged and you're in a space that you know about natural health. You've gained so much knowledge. You're in a unique situation that many other people are not in. You're probably really in the 1% of the world. So let's honor that place where you are and begin to feel that sense of gratitude. So when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like I can't do it anymore, or you're feeling like I'm just at a loss, I've been knocking my head against the wall, I want you to just step back. Here's the other thing. Go to your mentor, go to the person who's helping you on a regular basis, help them to walk you through what that overwhelm is all about. Maybe they can help you to clear some things off your plate, and also to help you figure out what your lane is. Because the biggest thing that I see with people that aren't achieving in this business is that they don't know what their lane is, and they're all over the place. So until we begin to see, okay, clearly, this is where I'm going. This is my goal for the next 3 months. So now we just finished the first month of the second quarter. And in one of my, I think actually in Team Power Diamond also, I had posted a picture of some pencils. It's going to be hard for you to find it now. But I want you to, if you can, in the comments, tell me what is your goal for if you have one, what's your goal for this quarter? And I think what we're going to try to do is get ourselves thinking on a quarterly basis. What are we trying to achieve? Now, if your goal is losing weight, for example, you're not going to lose 100 pounds in 2 months. It doesn't work that way. But could you set a small goal for yourself of maybe losing 5 pounds and then try to achieve that goal for yourself, because that's going to look so great. Okay, the other thing I want you to ask yourself is, why am I here? And that's kind of a big question, and you may be thinking, I don't know why I'm here. But sometimes deep down in our core, we do have a sense of what our duty is and what our obligations are, and also what's the legacy that we're leaving. Are we leaving a legacy of health and wellness? I think we are if we're working with doTERRA. Are we helping others to achieve health and wellness? Absolutely. Are we helping them to find financial prosperity? Yes. And are we sending a positive message that can help others? Yes. And which is why we don't give up, because we know that we were put here for a purpose, and having a purpose is so incredibly important. So you need to reflect a little bit. I gave you a lot of ideas today, things that you want to be thinking about. And the last question you need to ask yourself is, what do you want? So if you were to look at yourself in 10 years from now, what's that big, juicy goal that you want to have achieved? Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's an advanced degree. Maybe it's a rank in doTERRA. Maybe it's a relationship that you haven't been able to achieve. Maybe it's more friends. Maybe it's closer friends. I don't know what that big thing is, but I want you to write it down. Be bold enough to write it down on paper, or write it in your phone that you're going to be able to see what it is that you want. So your goal, and also what you're grateful for. Those are your two things that I'm going to challenge you to look for over the next week. But if you have comments, I want you to put them in the comments. Okay, our 90-day plan for reducing overwhelm is very similar to our plan that we had last week. A lot of these things that we feel are emotional overwhelm. So I'm going to recommend, again, the Emotional Aromatherapy Touch Kit, Serenity/Lavender Peace, depending on what market that you're in, and the Yoga Kit. Things that are going to help us to center ourselves, to feel more focused, and to go into that next step. I am so amazingly proud of all of you. I know that you work so hard, and I know that you have goals and dreams that you're setting for yourself. And my fondest wish for you is that you're going to be able to achieve them. But I'm going to ask you to break them down into smaller bites. So step number 1, look back. What did I achieve these last 3 months? Next step, what do I want to achieve these next 3 months? And then last but not least, what's that far away juicy goal that I want to really achieve? That if I achieved it, I would feel so proud of myself and so successful. And I'd be able to kind of look back and say, okay, I did that with my life. And always looking forward to that measure of gratitude each and every day. So remember, you are amazing because you're here, and also you're cute and funny and kind, and I'm glad that you were able to join us this evening. And then I want to thank you for being here, and have a wonderful week. Okay, so now let's stop the share, and I want to take some questions. Oh, I have a few people already in the chat. Okay. I'm actually going to stop the recording.